Drive to Survive Season 3 is here, and let's talk about every single episode. We're going to start things off episode 1, Cash is King. We're going to be doing a review of every single episode, so make sure you keep it locked. But let's talk about the 3 things I noticed from episode 1, Cash is King. Enter Canada's finest, that's right, Lawrence Stroll, ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of Racing Point. My goodness, he came in with a bang. He came in with such huge character. He's a very demanding sort of human being as well. We got to dive deep a little bit into his way of thinking, into his philosophy, what he expects from the team. He's a man who runs a very tight schedule. I mean, my goodness, some of the things that he was saying in this episode was quite interesting, let's say, with car launches, with meetings and how long people have got. I mean, he had a very demanding presence. He was very, I was actually quite surprised. I knew him as a serious person, but what I saw from this episode was really like, oh my goodness, here I am. This is me. The relationship between him and Otmar is not as close as I thought it was. It was very much a business level. I always see Otmar as one of the figureheads, and don't get me wrong, he is, but very under pressured man under Lawrence Stroll. It's not like Christian Horner and Dr. Helmut Marko, where it's a bit more of a tighter knit who each of them understand their roles, but the relationship is still nice and good. Whereas with Otmar and Lawrence, it seems a bit different. Now look, Lawrence puts big money in and he expects big results. So, and he mentions that in the episode that, look, I'm not one of these guys who's just a billionaire and throws money in and expects nothing. I need to see results. I always look up, I don't look below. So fair play to the guy. The second thing I noticed, that Racing Point, that pink Mercedes, my goodness, it caught everybody's attention in pre-season testing when it was doing the lap times it was doing. Everybody, I mean, even Red Bull was sitting there thinking, hang on a minute. Christian Horner says something's wrong with that Racing Point. It's quick. You know, it tells you everything. Everybody in the paddock had realized it. Renault, McLaren, they all had their eyes very much poised and thought, hang on a minute, because the car launch that they had was not a completely different car, but it was very different to the car that they put out at testing. And my goodness, the lap times were quick. You know, Lance Stroll could barely hide the smile on his face about the pace of the car. Neither could Sergio Perez. And my goodness, everybody woke up and said, hang on just a second, what the heck is going on? And finally, the third thing I noticed, do you remember the Rona? I mean, it's still about, but my goodness, we went to Melbourne, we're ready to kick things off 4 days before the race weekend was kicking off. We're still going ahead as planned, but then rumors started circulating around about this one having tested positive, that one testing positive. It was all going a bit messy, it was all getting a bit funny. It's astonishing to see how long ago this actually did take place. Like, Melbourne last year feels like ages ago. It was like ancient history. You had fans there, seeing the amount of fans that there was and seeing all the drivers like without masks and everything else, and they're all like, you know, together. It made me feel a bit like, oh guys, we're a bit too close here. Obviously, hindsight 2020. But yeah, you just forget how long this rumor had been going around about the virus and how, you know, I mean, we're talking about car launches, they were speaking about it then, and you just think, you know, the reason why it's got 19 on it is because it actually began in 2019, not in 2020. It just, we felt the impact far stronger in 2020. And 3 days before we're about to go ahead in Melbourne, they cancelled the Grand Prix. My goodness, and the fans were booing. Unbelievable scenes, Jeff. Lewis Hamilton not understanding why we're even in Melbourne in the first place when he's asked the question. And I tell you what, Netflix, I see what you did there, because Lewis gave you your title, didn't he? Because he said, Cash is king. That's the only reason why we're here. I don't understand why we're here. And it really did spark up some big stories. Netflix, as usual, you don't give me some titles, and yet it has more than one meaning. Of course, Cash is king with the Lawrence Stroll situation, bringing in money into Racing Point after, remember, season 1, Force India on their knees. Lawrence Stroll then helps them up. So the cash is king in that essence, but also with Lewis's statement, which is probably the more potent thing at the moment, where he says the only reason why we're even in Melbourne, why we're even going to go racing ahead when everybody else is closing borders, when sports have stopped, is because cash is king. Those were the 3 things I noticed from episode 1, season 3, Drive to Survive. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like the video, like the video. And if you want to carry along on this journey, watch out for the next episodes as they keep coming back to back to back to back. With that said, people, whew, lights out.